is going on, Patriots, Americans? We are winning on Wednesday tonight, folks.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm still freaking pumped up from this weekend's $1 Million Hustle. Big thanks to everybody that came out. We had about 40 people. Big shout out to my boy Mike Bassett, Thomas Keenan, Floyd McClendon, Danny Galvez. Everybody else at Smoke Session, freaking Hemisphere Brewing, freaking Uptown Apartment Locators. I'm going to butcher the shit out of this CPA's name, but it's Richard B for all your Dustin Bishop with Postnet. I'm telling you, the list can just keep going. So how you guys doing, man? Put some stuff up in the comments. Let me know if you watched the $1 Million Hustle, if you attended it, if it was something that you love, enjoyed, and what we can do better. So we always start off our days with our Wednesday wins, just like it says, winning on Wednesday. We got Jeff at the house tonight. He's on kid duty, some sort of duty where he's stuck in confinement, but that's okay because he's still with us. So we're going to start with Jeff because Jeff needs some wins, baby.
Jeff needs some wins.
So what's going on, Jeff?
Man, personal win has just been working on my CRM this week and putting in some automated tasks in regards to using my CRM as a tool rather than having to spend 100 times a week typing in names and databases and stuff like that. You know, it just goes back to the eliminate, automate, and delegate, you know, the things that we talk about. So got on the hook today with our big homie Drewby and kind of walked through some things on the CRM. I've always been a little bit against the whole CRM system, but I think that was a mindset thing for me as far as not wanting to put the work in. So just working on that. And then business win is, Big Country's been running the streets all week by himself, man.
Big Country.
You know, it's just it goes to show those, and if you're watching or see this later or share this, that if you're scared to hire employees, don't be, because it's a part of the process. And what's even more scarier is letting them go and letting them fly. But that's what we do as leaders, is create other leaders. So if you're looking to hire somebody and you know you need them, I mean, now's the time. You know, there's a lot of folks out there. So, you know, I'm blessed. I'm grateful for my network. I'm grateful for my brothers over there in that room. I ain't got nothing bad to say, man. I'm living the good life.
Well, good. We appreciate it. We can't wait to have you back in here. We're missing the synergy. We're missing the flow and what have you. Guys, I'm pumped up, man. So there may be
some spice tonight.
There may be some swear words that come out.
Heck yeah. I'm sorry, Keith. We got to apologize now.
I'm going to apologize up front, man. We may be dropping some words.
We had to be quiet on Saturday.
I'm telling you.
I mean, people paid to come sit in a room and listen to us do this.
That's right. Hey, we don't have time for that.
Hey, I got a question, Mr. Keenan.
Yeah,
Mr. Bassett.
We ain't got time for that. So next time we're all gonna be on stage. We ain't sharing it no more.
Yeah.
Anyways, KC, round robin, right over to you. You got some wins that we need to talk about.
All right, man. Look, I closed 4 deals.
4 deals.
We ran our first ever live event. Right?
That's correct.
And y'all, the suit, you want to know if you're a patriot without having to say you're a patriot? Check this bad boy out.
Well, I tell you what.
I had this suit made. Yeah, baby.
That's American than that.
That's American AF. I had this suit made before I went to South America. It crashed and broke my back. And we all know, right? 6 weeks learning how to, do all the things, get out of the wheelchair. Had to relearn how to run and exercise and all that jazz. And, I'm going to say, man, I was not happy with my health goals for the last 18 months. So for the first time since COVID, since before the crash, bam,
boom, bingo, bang,
Captain America's back. So that's my big win.
So all we got to really do is next step to level up that.
That shield.
It's I don't know, man. I'm not going to show anybody, but I got the American flag draped right here on the chest. I mean, we bleed red, white, and blue here at the Patriots Business Alliance.
Right.
I don't know if y'all picked that up or not, but this is our country. This is where we're going to stand the last stand It don't matter what all these dumbasses are doing out there in the world today. We got you 6. When it comes down to it, we're going to make things happen. So I guess it's up to me on the win.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Now, I'm going to tell you what, folks. My win's not going to sound extremely glamorous. It's not going to sound over the top, right? It's going to be very boring. But it's a very important win for Doc's Roofing. Doc's Roofing has finally set up a system and a process that I'm now able to delegate effectively and create a team of leaders that I no longer will have minimum oversight with. This has been about a month in the process of being able to fully understand what I want, what those roles and responsibilities look like, expectations, as well as consequences. And folks, if anybody knows me, I am not the guy that you can put in a damn room and sit down and try to figure this stuff out. And that's why it's taken a month.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why it's taken me longer than probably normal. And I probably could have paid somebody or whatever, but I wanted to have a personal touch on how this company continues to grow and to continue to give back to the community, to the homeowner, and just become that next level roofer, right? So that's kind of one of my big wins for me. I know it doesn't sound like a big win, but
it's a big win.
Freaking huge. Another little small win on my personal side. I have a kindergartner and a fucking senior. So I don't know if anybody's been in these shoes, but if you have, can you call me? Can you let me know? Can you give me some pearls of wisdom? Like, what am I in store for with having not only a kindergartner and a senior? Like, it's going to be a fun year, folks. I'm extremely excited.
It's going to be remarkable. It's going to be remarkable.
You know what you're in for, Doc? You're in
hey,
for
audience, throw it in the chat.
12 more years of cheer dad. That's what you're in for, homeboy.
And I'm all in. They just called me. They said, hey, Doc. And I was like, yeah. He's like, do you want to be in charge of throwing tailgate parties for the Friday night football games?
All you heard was party.
I don't drink, but hold my beer and don't watch this shit. You know what I mean? So now I get to be a part of throwing those tailgate parties for the senior. I get to be the guy that gives out snacks for my little one at her cheer game. So I'm extremely blessed and excited, and no complaints here. Anyways, nobody gives a shit if you got complaints. So,
hey man, I forgot to add one thing on a personal here that sitting on a sticky note right here. I got invited to be. I got invited to write a chapter today in a book called The Greatest Lessons You've Learned from Your Dad. So I'm going to be able to put together a little, I don't know, 750, 850 words worth of my story into a book that's going to be coming out this fall, man. So I totally spaced on that, but that's huge because that's something that we've all been kind of talking about as a team for the PBA, and not only that, but individually. So I'm pretty jazzed about that, man. I can't believe I forgot about that. I had to throw that out there in the universe.
Yeah, man, you fixing to be a published author. Watch out,
man. You know, it's one step towards that, right? You know what I mean? There's like 3% of the world that can call themselves an author, and when you start surrounding yourself with people that have done it and are doing it and are best-selling authors within weeks of releasing their books, it motivates you because we all have a story, and no one gives a shit about the woe is me. But you know what? If one person can learn from one of our stories, any of us in this room, that's critical, man. That's what we're here for.
That's exactly right. It's all about changing that one person that truly needs it. Our message goes out across a large platform, across a large audience, and oftentimes some of the information that we put out doesn't necessarily fall on everybody's lap, but I guarantee you it does fall on at least one person's lap. And that's what the takeaways are. And that's why we're so passionate about showing up every single Wednesday at the Patriot Business Alliance, just pouring our heart, souls, and energy out to our audiences. Because if we can just change one, and I live by this motto daily, like I make it a point to smile at anybody that crosses my path. Because if I can change one person's attitude from being sad freaking panda, right, to be like, oh shit, life really ain't so bad, right? Like I made this lady laugh in the drive-thru today. Like she literally snorted and just freaking lost her shit like while I'm in the drive-thru, and she was like, man, I'm gonna tell you, I appreciate that, thank you so much. I'm at this dead-end job. And then she started giving me her life story, and I was like, look, I just really want my cheeseburger. I just wanted to make you happy. And so she was. So just that little bit of kindness, that little act of kindness changed that lady's whole entire day because she was working in a drive-through window.
That's all it takes, man. That's all
So
it takes.
just be happy, folks. It's so much easier.
Gratitude.
It
Right.
takes the same amount of energy and effort, right? It actually takes more muscles in your face to frown
Than it does to smile.
than it does to clown.
Yep. And I'm inherently lazy, so that's probably why I smile so much, because I just don't want to do shitty things.
But just think
Smile.
about, like every drive-through window is a stage. Every person that you're behind or in front of at the grocery store, you're on a little mini stage. What brand are you projecting? Are you this holier than this cloak of righteousness? Right? Mike Bassett was talking about that. Take that cloak of righteousness off, throw it away, because you put your pants on one leg at a time, just like the person in front of you, the person in the drive-through window. That's a great lesson, Doc.
Yeah.
It's a great lesson.
I mean, and I just really do. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's drive-through, if it's that cashier, if it's the guy sending, like I spark
it's
up
$1 million deal
Yeah.
that you don't know is coming.
I spark up conversations at a gas station. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anybody that knows me, I am not afraid to talk to somebody that I've never met. And that's just been ingrained in me in the sales. But I'm not even looking for any reward. I just want to cut up and shoot the shit with somebody because my wife's tired of listening to my jokes.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just looking for new people to hear my crap. And so,
Man, I was going to say that, man. Imagine how many relationships any of us have just by a simple, hey, just by changing the mindset of somebody because maybe they needed to hear a joke. Maybe they needed to hear a hello today. You never know what someone's going through. The skeletons are often deep in people's closets and you never know what they are. So, I like what Mike Bassett was saying, man. Take that cloak off, man, and be a giver, not a receiver.
Yeah.
and that's kind of will kind of segue into our topic tonight of like some serious leadership traits, right?
Some
And having that
situation,
the situational awareness, right?
Right.
And being able to take the right corrective action, knowing who and checking your surroundings, right? Are you that leader that's, well, I did all this stuff and I'm bravado and you know what I mean? You can't do what I do because I've been doing this way better than you. And it's a me leadership style, which you're not going to get very many followers with a me leadership idea, right?
Not.
You may
Yeah,
get
put
some
people out.
that are like, you know what I mean? Or you may have a significant high turnover of followers, right?
Right.
Because you're going to capture some people that are like, wow, man, I want to be like that dude. He's freaking funny. He's over the top, whatever the case may be. But once your true self begins to shine through and people start to see past your bullshit, that's when you know if you're a true leader or if the people following you really actually care and want to follow you all the way to the end of that road or up that mountain or through whatever shit show we want to drag.
Right. And you got to remember there's, words are important. Words have meanings. I think we get bombarded with so much information through the interwebs and all the content coming at us, right? What is a leader, right? Somebody who's in the position of leadership. But what does that mean, right? It means the action of leading a group, right? We talked about that before. I think it's a good recap. The key word there, and you hit it without even talking about the definition, the action, keyword action, to be in command or control of your organization, your family, right? You going to make them, do their homework or not? You're going to be the leader? First day of school, right? Probably not going to be a whole lot of leadership tonight because they're all going to be crying about summer's over.
Yeah, they're tired. My kids didn't want to get up from school. But what I did for them, I got my kids up. I put some music on, right? I put on some energy music, some hype music, right? So the first thing that they're hearing out of their ears is like some optimism.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm setting the tone for my children this morning by getting the vibe right, getting the energy right, because you don't want to, it's their first day of school, right? Same concept applies when you're hiring for the first time or you're getting ready for a team meeting. You want to set that tone. You want to be situationally aware of what you're trying to do. So if it's a team meeting, how are you going to be able to motivate them to stay gainfully engaged, right? Is it going to be through music? Is it going to be through laughter? Is it going to be monotone and boring as shit? You come to my team meetings, we ain't bored. We're having a good time. You know what I mean? And we're putting down some solid knowledge. You walk into the PPA when we're having our team leadership meetings, we're having a good time. We're getting stuff done, right? But we're lighthearted, right? I don't know if anybody out there has been micromanaged. Where are you guys at? Who's been micromanaged?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it's horrible, right? And I've caught myself micromanaging others. Jeff, tell me about it. You say you've been micromanaged. What is your kind of thoughts and processes of that leadership trait for certain situations?
Man, I think anybody that leads with a micromanagement is kind of scared to give up the power. I think that's what it is, right? And I've been there, and I was there with Big Country the first 90 days or so, where I was like, you can't do it like me. He's not who I am, blah, blah, blah. But, it's taking a step back from employer Jeff Skinner to employee Jeff Skinner. Man, I hated being micromanaged. I've always taken pride and ownership to do what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, and always had the company's best interest at heart. So I never felt like someone needed to micromanage me. I've never needed somebody to wake me up in the morning and motivate me. I get up and get moving, right? So for anybody who's been micromanaged, they know that it's a demeaning feeling. It really is. So if you're in the position of a leadership right now and you feel like you have to micromanage, that's not an employer or an employee problem. That's a leader problem, and you have to face that head on. We talk a lot in this room about having the tough conversations with your team, but not only with your team, but yourself. So you have to look yourself in the mirror if you're micromanaging your team and realize that is the first and quickest way to run good people off.
Hey, you're 100%. That was probably one of the driving forces of me getting out of the military. Like, it was just too overwhelming for me, always doing the same. It was like insanity, right? We dressed the same, we showed up the same. The stuff was so redundant that I wasn't able to fly. I wasn't able to be the true person that I wanted to be. Same thing happened to me when I went and worked at Baylor Dallas, right? These nurses, and I get it. Don't get me wrong. I understand there are certain situations where you must micromanage the process. There are certain situations that you must micromanage so that the outcome you're looking for is right for your client. You know what I mean? We're not saying micromanaging is a bad thing. What we are saying is if you have a leader and that's the only way they lead is via micromanaging, then you may want to reevaluate that position as that leader.
No, I think we get on.
Being a lawyer, I would assume you micromanage your what do you call them, the court reporter, or
your staff,
or your staff, whoever's getting you evidence, right? Because it is so important that the details be accurate, that you must micromanage it, at least up until a point that they know your work habits and your traits, and that's what you are leaning on, Jeff, with Big Country. You had to do it for those 90 days in order for him to understand your thought process. Now he goes out and he does it probably just the way you taught him to do it, and you have no fear. So again, micromanaging into the world.
The other thing too is, as you train your folks, what's worked for me so far is, hey man, we're going to run the same race. We're going to end up crossing the same finish line. But you know what? If you do things just a little bit differently, but they're up to our expectations, then I'm okay with that, because I want my people to create their own personality, create their own relationships with the clients and certain things like that, right? So yeah, you're right, man. There's some things you need to micromanage. Like, you want to talk about micromanaging? Talk about micromanaging your finances in your business. That's something you need to micromanage, right? You need to know where you're spending money, where you're saving money, where you can get discounts from your vendors or take care of this. You want to micromanage some things, micromanage you, the business owner. The rest will work itself out.
Yeah, I'm hearing two very important things from both of you, and it was the first thing that jumped in my mind too. It's exactly what drove me into my own business, right? It was exactly what made me not want to be, but like this burning desire, like I must do this, because one, I know I can do it better, right? And two, the micromanagement of the done is better than perfect. I know a lot of people disagree with that, especially in my business, right? Done is better than perfect. My done is better than a lot of people's perfect. Now, there's times that perfect is critical. There's times that perfect, like, you know, Mike Bassett was talking about interviewing the owner of Southwest Airlines, right?
Mm-hmm. How
many planes took off and how many planes landed? And if that number matched,
you're hired.
Everything was great. Right?
I was talking to Thomas this week, and he said the same thing. Done is better than perfect. And you're the first person that I thought of because I bust your ass all the time for saying that. And I really do. But when you think about the paralysis by analysis, I don't know if y'all have heard that before, right?
Yeah.
Overthinking.
You're planning to plan.
Right? No decision is also a decision. So
it's a decision to stay adrift.
Yeah, it's complacency. So, you know, understanding the situation you're in is imperative as a leader. And, you know, each one of us have been in situations, whether that's military or civilian sector, where the situation dictates the reaction. Would you say that's a fair statement?
Absolutely. And that carries over, especially true in what I do now, right? Go to court today, right? Went to the courthouse, say, judge, got hired yesterday. I'd like a continuance, blah, blah, blah. Judge is like, no.
Hey, cool.
Yeah, like
I don't think you heard me correctly.
Like, hey, other lawyer, guy not asking for a continuance. You want to call your first witness?
We're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened. It's like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's exactly right. You got to be ready, and you know, you've got to make quick decisions and take massive action with less than perfect facts, maybe no facts, right? I mean, Jeff, what if somebody, I know it's happened, right? I need you to get down here immediately. Get this, you know, office networking, audio, visual, whatever the problem is that they are needing you to solve, right? And probably at a premium price, right? It's a big problem, and it like to stop everything, move heaven and earth to get this problem fixed. Please come help me, Jeff Skinner and Black Level AV. And you go down there with, I don't even know, whatever's in your truck is what you got.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to make something happen that day, even if it's just triage, Band-Aid type stuff, and then come back and really do the perfect fix later, just to get them through the crisis. Right? I mean, so we've all faced that. And then, you know, probably what drove us into these scenarios where you know, and Doc, same thing, right? You got to respond to a 18-wheeler wreck in the middle of the night, or
just had the phone call.
Just had the phone call. Right. Yeah. You know, you've got a professional sports team that there's been an outbreak of cocaine, and
you're going to go COVID.
Yeah, no, I was good. You know, it's like, hold on, man, we got to get
time out, Casey. No football team just suddenly has an outbreak of cocaine. Like, it just doesn't happen like that. Okay. It's
I don't know,
like
man.
I don't know. Room, you're like, guys, did y'all see what just happened?
Yeah, everybody's sniffling.
Mike Orban's here.
I think there was one, and it was in the 90s, and there was a team called the Dallas Cowboys.
Right. The cocaine outbreak. I'm sorry. I'll tell you what, I'm the biggest fan of being done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
Like, these guys know. I'm like, we're going to get this shit done because I'm going to get shit done. And I'm going to throw it out there. Jeff is a perfectionist. Just loves to freaking make it look good. Boom, boom. That's his gig. But then you get Mike Rannigan in the room, and he's dealing with the guy that's like, I need to get done. This shit needs to get done.
Yeah, we need it done.
Right? And shit gets done. And at the end of the day, like, it happened, and it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you what, with this $1 Million Hustle last weekend,
we had a few issues.
We had some issues. We had 2 people out. We had our lives go down. We had stuff going down. And we were like, you know what? But we're here. We're in the now. We're taking action. And we adapted. We overcome. And we made it work.
Right.
And it ended up being a very, very successful event across the board.
Right.
Because we didn't go we did not go for perfectionism. We went for getting it done. So damn straight, done is better than perfect. But being perfect is also good.
Yeah.
I agree with that, because I'm learning the lesson every week with you guys that, you know, while each person plays a different role in the Patriot Business Alliance between us three. You have to find that synergy within your alliance, right? The reason Doc and Casey are sitting in that room is because Doc and Jeff were sitting in that room 4 months ago, and then we ended up at Home Depot and Joann's Fabrics and all this other stuff because Doc said, no, we're doing this now, and we went and did it. So there's a level of respect when you have people on your team that want to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And you can't allow guys like me who are the OCD perfectionists, got to be perfect, to stop that, because I'm learning now that that can be a hindrance as well. So
it hinders progress.
You know what though? But you know what though? I mean, that's such a great balance.
Exactly.
To have that. I mean, I want you to mastermind a couple of projects of mine that don't have anything to do with the Patriot Business Alliance, just because I want you to bring that brain housing unit, because you think differently than I do, right? I think in a lot of ways similar to you and you, right? And here's one thing that we all hold each other to. And this is, I think, a trait of any leadership in any organization. You must insist on excellence.
Yes.
100%.
Right?
Absolutely.
If you're not pushing for 93 Bulls level excellence, I know I use that too much, but who doesn't love the 93 Bulls?
I wasn't even born.
There's a documentary. It's on 30 for 30.
All I know is they never paid the light bill when our lights went out. So fuck the 93 Bulls, because they didn't send me no money.
Hey, well, I think what he's saying though is like, and I think this is great to have the mindset. It's something we always talk about. Mindset is where it all starts, guys. Like, if you don't have the mindset of being the 93 Bulls, where, you know, every person on that team played a pivotal role, and then when one person wasn't there, i.e. me last week at the $1 Million Hustle, the planning and the thought process and the mindset that went into that killed that event. That event was spectacular for us. You know why? Because
that's so true.
That's because
it had a lot to do with you, man.
Well, and I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it has a lot to do with us as the team, because we're all aligned in the same direction.
Oh,
yeah. We had a plan. We executed the plan, and we fucking took massive action on the plan.
100%.
And we got what we were aiming for, regardless of all the hiccups that came down the pipe. We still maintained a level of excellence. We still ensured top-notch performance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we still had way above the people that I anticipated showing up.
And
so
that's
that
situational leadership.
Yeah, and let's focus on one thing, right? Fire Marshal said no more than what, 70?
That's right.
Right? And we were
69.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
was that
so sold tickets, right? Tickets sold out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we did have, I think,
we did
10 or 12 no-shows.
Yeah, give or take.
You know, and I understand, you know, like people, it was a rainy Saturday. There were wrecks all over the DFW area. 20 and 30 were shut down.
Shit happens.
I mean, it was like bad news. And you know what? I was kind of like, I felt blessed, because I don't know if the fire marshal came in there with a full house like that.
Yeah.
You know, he might have been grumpy with us. So, you know, the deal is that alignment and something that came up at the hustle that I think we got to talk about just for a second, because it's critical for you to identify yourself as a leader and the leaders on your team. And also when you're building out your team, like Jeff is doing right now, like Doc is doing right now, like I'm doing right now, right? Like Jennifer and I are doing right now. Your core values are critical, right? We all have core values that we grew up. Do you remember the core values from your junior high?
I don't even remember what junior high I went to.
Right. So, but they had some, right? I mean, you were indoctrinated with some core values when you were, 13-year-old Jeff Skinner, and all you could care about was your flannel shirts and your skateboard.
Yeah, we were not indoctrinated.
I'm going to go ahead and say that Mesquite probably has no core values.
No, we didn't.
But the Marine Corps has core values.
100%.
Sure. Honor, courage, commitment.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you know them to this day.
To this day.
Right. Semper Paratus. Right. Always ready.
Right.
You must go out. You don't have to come back. Right. These are the things that the Coast Guard has as its core value.
They would tell you that?
Yes.
You can go out, but you don't have to come back.
It's a service to sacrifice.
Zero love with the Coast Guard, folks. So mine, something to think about. At least the Navy loved me a little bit.
A little bit.
So as a leader, right? And we're in certain situations, and now we have this after action report, right? So I know that there are a lot of different companies out there, like an EOS program. You have Vistage, you have Apex is out there. So I've taken from bits and pieces from these different organizations that I'm a part of, and utilize what the EOS program is called a scorecard, right? So it's a tool designed to be able to, basically it was like our evals, right?
Yeah.
You look at it and you say, well, how many doors did you knock? How many contracts did you get signed? How many is it? Right. And at the end of the week, at the end of every 2 weeks or month or whatever, it's a living, breathing document that can be utilized by your business that will help you track your team members' progress, your expectations. Are you ensuring? It's an accountability tool to use for your business. Now, on the flip side of that, I also ask the team to score me, right? As a leader. Where am I failing at? What am I doing great at? What do you want to see me become better with? What information do I need to bring to the table to be able to create that cohesiveness that you have to have inside of your culture? So people often ask, well, how do I create a great culture? Well, you involve the people in your room as much as possible. You break bread with those people, right?
Yeah.
You get their feedback so that you can be a better leader in their eyes. Because I can sit down back here and say, man, I'm doing a great job. But at the end of the day, I don't know that I'm doing a great job unless I ask the members around me if I'm actually doing a good job. KC does it. You want to know how I know KC does it? Because Jennifer, his old lady, put his ass out on Facebook and said he got evaluated.
Yeah, he
so
did.
I would like to talk to KC about that evaluation.
Yeah,
What is your process at Ashmore & Ashmore on your evaluations, and how does that benefit your company as a whole?
Okay.
Well, she sure did throw him under the bus, didn't she?
She sure did.
Yeah. So look, it's real simple, right? And it's something I heard from A-Rod when he was talking about how he did his evals. I went to a conference. He was a speaker. He was pretty dang amazing. I don't care what you think about him with steroids and all that. He talked about all that too. Red light, yellow light, green light. Right? It's a very simple way to evaluate your people, right? Meeting expectations, not obviously exceeding expectations. We got a big problem, right? You got to know where those red lights are. You got to confront that, right? I used to be a strictly good news boss, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't like the confrontation, and I have learned, as painful as, I'm good at confrontation. Why did I not want to be confrontational with my team? They cannot be better. They cannot be the remarkable people they want to be if you're sugarcoating everything.
Oh, God, I love that. Yeah.
Right? Like, think about would your kid, would you sugarcoat? Or would you say, hey, are you being a champion, devil pup? Are you acting like a champion right now?
Or do you want to taste my boot leather?
Yeah. You know what, man? You think about the past and the endeavors that you've taken yourself through in life. When you think about the yes man in your life, did it really help you grow? Fuck no, it didn't, right? When you think about that uncle that used to kick your ass and tell you, hey, never work for free, value yourself, bust your ass, work hard, did you respect that? Every day. You know what I'm saying? So if you're surrounding yourself right now with yes men and people that are kissing your ass all the time, I'm going to tell you right now, you're wrong. You're in the wrong room. You're in the wrong mindset. You're in the wrong place to be challenging yourself to get better. That's not where you need to be, I promise you.
No, you're 100% right. And I love the way Casey deflected from my doggone question.
Oh, I got a bunch of red lights.
I need to know,
and maybe one yellow.
What is your process inside of your business when you host these? Like, run me down. I'm your guy.
Oh, okay.
Like, I want to understand it so the people out there who haven't implemented this evaluation process can say, that's how you do it.
Got it.
Right? Because when I was just a one-man show, who the hell am I evaluating? The only person that's evaluating me is my wife going, hey, did you make any money? I'm like, yeah. She's like, all right, cool. That was my eval.
Your kids. Like, hey, Dad, did you sell a roof today?
Right? But they don't care.
Was there a cocaine breakout in the locker room at Cowboy Stadium?
As a matter of fact, there was, kids.
So there's evaluations are based on performance metrics,
Okay.
which are all tied back to core values, right? All tied back to the core values. Using the core values as the touchstone for everything is important. So performance, there's a 1,000 forms out there, right? Everybody remembers.
But you specifically, Casey, we're dialing in on Ashmore and Ashmore, your recent evals that just took place inside your office. Like, what was your process when you said, hey, Mike, come in here. We're going to go over this.
Yeah.
Thing.
So broad strokes.
Broad stroke, yeah.
The eval form has six things, all tied into core values.
Okay.
Right. Business development and personal, professional development. Right.
Okay.
And how that ties into core values. Red light, yellow light, green light, and then some thoughtful analysis on each employee, all 11 employees.
Okay.
Right. Including
Yourself.
ourselves.
Sure.
Right. Ourselves. And then one-on-one meetings, because these are not this isn't like a hype up the room meeting.
No. These are serious brass tacks meetings that you're having with your team.
Right.
Hey, man, this is what I'm showing you right here. You've been with me for 90 days. I've asked you for X, Y, and Z. You've gotten me X, a little bit of Y, and 0 Z. Why? Where am I failing at? Because these evals are designed to help me as a leader. Where am I failing? Is my team competent enough? Did I teach them? Did I fail wrong? Right?
Yeah.
Because that's what these scorecards are about, is the progress of that individual from day one that I hired on day one. And now I need to know the progress on day whatever 900. You know what I'm saying? So that we are able to have a living document that shows progress. You know what else that's going to help you do? It's going to help you promote from within your company.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to sort it out. You're going to be able to see, wow, man, fucking old Chuck over here is really shining.
Yeah, that guy's remarkable, and he's continuing to be remarkable. And that's in every leadership, but right, you can't get there if you don't take them with you.
That's right.
Right? Because ultimately and I know this because I have seen this over and over and over. When you are building, if you're just building a machine and you're not building leaders, those leaders will leave, right? They will go form their own businesses or go serve others in another business venture where they feel like they're going to be rewarded and valued more.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
100%.
And so the feedback of performance is critical to know how you value what they think they contribute. Mm-hmm. It's critical.
It's huge.
Let me add to that real quick, because that's the entire reason I own my own business today, was the fact that I actually went from being an asset to a number. I stopped receiving my performance evals. I stopped receiving the feedback. I stopped receiving the input on what could make me better. And I just literally became a 9-to-5 guy for somebody else who was taking vacations and buying beach houses in Florida and going here and going there. And then all it was is I'm just here, I'm just spinning my wheels. The moment you stop providing feedback, not only with the evals, which are critical, and I love the fact that your evals align solely with your core values, so kudos to you and the business for that. But the moment you stop giving your team feedback, they're going to start thinking, well, does it matter? Do I care how good of a job I do? Am I here? So that communications is paramount in your business from top to bottom, all the way through. So I think what I'm taking away, the biggest thing is that you're doing these evals based off the core values of your business. And go talk to your boy Thomas Keenan. He'll tell you those core values. If he was to go back and start over his business from day one, he would have done nothing until he had his core values squared away.
That's right. Because core values define your culture define your people define your success.
And your brand.
Right. it down. Somebody write that down.
Writing it.
Write it down. Put it on a bumper sticker. Put it on a T-shirt.
Hey, don't
Gotta
worry.
say it again. Gotta
You
say
gotta
it again.
record it
So
here.
your core values define your culture. Your culture is going to define your people, and your people will ultimately define your success. You know, so let's talk about this fun little acronym that I found. I love acronyms. If you know anybody about veterans, we love our acronyms. Okay, we love taking a big long bunch of words and shoving them and condensing them into one. And Jeff sent me over a pretty cool one that I'd never heard of called BRAD. Right, BRAD. Whenever you're having these revals, or you're in a crummy situation, or shit's hit the fan inside of your job site, or
Force of average, man.
force
Every
of average
day.
comes out. It stands for back up, regroup, assess the situation, and drive on. Right. So when Jeff, seeing how this is kind of your acronym that I'm kind of throwing out there and hitting you with the bus, have you had to utilize this type of acronym when working for that other larger company? Because I've talked to you about the other company you work for, and they're a very large and reputable company doing some very high-end businesses, right? But you said you were lead project manager, so you oversaw people. You were in that role. You were in that position. So did you consistently use that idea of taking back, step, regrouping, and assessing, or were you like, yo, everybody screwed, get the hell off my job site?
Man, you have to. I mean, you've heard me say it 100 times. Like, sometimes you got to pump the brakes. You know what I mean? And you're right, man. The company I work for, we were a multi-million-dollar AV company, and I managed millions and millions of dollars of projects all over the U.S. So yeah, there were times where the business owner didn't like it, but I had to stop. I had to regroup. I had to reassess the situation. I mean, if you can imagine sending $1 million worth of AV company from San Diego to Honolulu, there's a little bit of thought process that has to go into that, right? And if one thing messes up, one shipment doesn't make it, a crew of guys doesn't make it there on time, and there's some deadlines, you know, you're talking penalties and fees on these projects that could be upwards of $100,000 a day. You know what I'm saying? So yes, absolutely 100%. There was a lot of times where I had to back up, you know, regroup and assess the situation, and then think about the situation like we're talking about tonight, and then go, okay, in this situation, what are the contingencies for ABZ, you know, ABD? You have to do that also with your people. You know what I mean? You have to stop, pump the brakes, and say, hey, you made a big mistake here. I'm not going to fire you for it, but let's see what we learned from it, right? So we can push forward. So absolutely 100%.
And I love it. I'm usually the guy who just done is better than perfect, right? That can have some backlash, because sometimes in our thought process, we want to be hurry up and get it done to satisfy. But there's some times where I could take a look at right now that I wish I could take back, so that it could take a moment and back up, reassess,
Right.
and kind of assess what happened and then move forward. But in my brain, right, the way it works sometimes, it's like, no, get it done, get it done, get it done. And so it's important that we have to take that time. And because you're not saying take days and stuff, right? That's not what we're telling you, folks. We're saying take a moment and understand the situation that you're in. And again, it boils down to that. What type of leader are you? Are you that bully leader that pushes forward, that makes things happen so that you can get the accolade, right?
Yeah.
Because there's those leaders out there that are only chasing the trophy. Look what I did, boss. Got him. Doesn't even tell the team what they went through, right? The guy that's leading the team doesn't even give them any attaboys. Got it, boss. We're all done. We drove through. And then when the boss goes through and he starts looking at that job site, he's like, hey, man, there's a bunch of discrepancies here. Yeah, boss, but we got it done, right? No, that leader should have known the Brad method, right? Back up, reassess, reevaluate, regroup, drive on, right? Take that moment. Be the patient leader. And let us, you know what I'm saying, Casey? Be the patient leader.
You gotta, I tell you one thing. This so many takeaways and example. We were just talking about it. Patriot Business Alliance, 2 men down, completely unexpected, right? Not one AV guy down.
Both AV.
Both AV guys
Left to the demise of no AV.
Yeah. Right. Force of average, right? It's on our doggone T-shirt, which are still for sale if you want one. We don't have that many left though. We got
like
what,
5 or 6.
like we got 5 or 6 left. It's crazy.
It was a good day.
But the deal is, right? 2 AV guys down. We're left with no AV guys to run all the AV at a digital in a digital age, right? And we can handle a laptop, kind of, right? I mean, we did it. Yeah, right. But so, what we did exactly this. We didn't know it was the Brad.
Yeah.
Right. The Brad method, right? But we'd like, all right, let's take a step back.
Yep.
We're going to have to eliminate some of the complications from our plan, right? So we regrouped. All right, we got A, B, C, and D. We know we can figure out A and B.
Yeah.
We don't have a problem with C. Nobody's missing it. We're gonna get rid of it.
Yep.
Right. That's just now out of the deal. So we assessed, right, and then we drove on, right. And then there was another hiccup. We had a live feed failure thankfully it was
pretty much at the end.
Pretty much at the end.
Yeah.
And we were able to get it back on and get it jumped. But
But the Brad method is designed as a contingency strategy
Right.
for the leader.
Yeah.
Right? Because every situation is going to dictate what type of leadership characteristic you're going to implement.
yeah.
Right? A few episodes back, we talked about leadership characteristics of being motivated, being the outside the box thinker, being goal driven, so on and so forth. Right? We don't have to beat that horse too much.
No.
But what's important is that when you have X amount of tools in your toolbox and utilize the resources, right? I'm that knucklehead, right? Where I have all the resources at my disposal, but I still think, oh, no, Mike can do it. I'm forcing Michael's will to be done. And when you begin to impose your will on something, typically it doesn't work out the way it should work out.
100%.
But when you take a step back and assess the situation, ask for help, utilize the resources that have been freely given, then the whole stress level comes down.
Yeah. I mean, think about it in a situation like with your kid, right? Your kid wants something. Your kid runs out of resources, and so they just cry and pout, right? That doesn't get the problem solved, right? But stepping back, right? Assessing what resources, knowing that you can delegate, right? Jeff, you were hitting on that a minute ago, right? You don't have to be the technician on every little thing, right? And that's critical, right? And to reach out. Jeff told me this the other day. I was in the middle of, putting way too much pressure on myself, and it was semi-motivational, but mostly a chew out to remind me that I got a team of people. Doc, Jeff, they're here to listen, to help, right? Let me lean into you, Casey. I'm going to send Big Country down to help you with A, B, C, and D, right? We're having some issues with the reboot in our Terrell office, right? And Jeff was like, we're going to handle that, right? So instead of being grumpy, instead of throwing a temper tantrum, instead of forcing my will on that like a kid would do, and really not getting anywhere. Like, do you give a crap if your kid is crying for the Milky Way?
Shit, no.
Right? You can't have it, right? If you keep that up, I'm going to tell Santa Claus, that may not work for the devil pup, but you know what I mean.
Let me add something to this real quick, because I really want to drive this home. We're continuously talking tonight about situational leadership and how to implement that in the business. Here's something that I want to really drive home. In order for you to have the ability to pivot or have that contingency, your team has to be on the same page. I was in a leadership position in the last company where I was employee Jeff Skinner in, and I had this moment, and it was for quite some time, where it was like, hey, look at me. I'm doing all this work. I'm winning. And over here, my team was just kind of my team. They were just doing what I asked them to do, right? Well, brought them all in, and I said, just like you said earlier, Doc, how am I doing? Boy, they lit me up, which I loved. I didn't like it then, right? But I grew from it because I realized that I needed to stop. I needed to pump the brakes, like I said earlier, for my damn self, and realize that my team's input is the most valuable input to being able to turn on a dime like that in your business. Because if you're the only one with the plan and you're the only one that can make the left turn real fast, who's falling out of the bus? Your team, because they don't know which way you're going. So make sure while you're implementing these things, you're bringing your team in. And I'm not saying that everybody in the team has to have a say-so, but your core people, the people that are helping you build your business, they better be in the right seat, on the right bus, going in the same direction, or the moment you kick left and go left fast, everybody's going the opposite direction. So just wanted to kind of drive that home.
Yeah.
And then also good to remember, after we have these hard talks with your teammates, sometimes like Jeff said, hey man, that kind of hurt my feelings. But we want to be grown up enough. We want to be leaders enough that we take in the feedback, that we give positive feedback. What do they say? Praise in the open and discipline behind doors.
Praise in public and reprimand in private.
But what we don't want to do is after that is let it carry over into your personal life.
No. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm guilty. I've taken stuff where my day didn't go as planned, and I get home and I bring that energy inside the house, right? And it's even carried back over into the next day. You know what I mean? Back inside this, right? So be able to have an outlet where you can contact maybe contact your mentor, maybe contact a business coach, maybe contact me. Just be like, yo, Mike, can I bend your ear and yell at you for a couple of minutes to let you know how I feel? But if you're in there and you're harboring and you're having animosity towards one of your teammates or one of your leadership teams or whatever, and you hold on to that, people are going to feel it. Especially as a leader. Your energy is going to be different, right? And we talk about that. We talk about flow state. We talk about ecstasis. We talk about having more positivity than negativity. When you harbor these resentments and these animosities and these angst, right, it really jacks with your chi. It jacks with your flow. And it begins to it begins to eat at your culture. And then you don't really honor your core values as much, right? Because we're afraid of holding on because I wasn't right? Because it didn't go my way, right? Because I should have got a better freaking score. My team should have loved me better. You know what I mean? And you hit the nail on the head, Jeff. You're like, well, I didn't like it right then and there. But when after a day or two and I processed it, I was like, damn, I needed to hear that.
Yes.
Right? Because our biggest critic are the ones that we spend the most time with.
Yeah.
Right?
Right here. Right here.
Well, that's crazy.
But again, Jeff, sorry, you about to say something.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Well, I know we're getting close, but I think that's absolutely critical. And look, business leaders, I told you, I'm a good news boss. I'm a good news guy. I am extremely positive. I wasn't always this way, right? I wasn't always this way. I had to work real hard. And some of this stuff I learned from Jeff Skinner. And some of it I learned from my man, Doc Rannigan. I won't tell anybody, but it was like, look, man, if you're negative, I ain't got time for you, right? If you're negative, I don't have time for that in my life or my business.
Mm-hmm.
That applies to yourself. That's a core value. If you're going to be positive, you cannot walk around pissed off at a teammate because something went sideways, not talk about it for 2 weeks, and be an absolute dick.
Yeah.
Right? You're being negative, right? By letting it fester. And bad news won't keep. So get the skunk on the table because it ain't going to smell any better.
Right.
Anybody ever hit a skunk?
Oh, man.
I followed it.
Right. Did it smell better after a week?
After a week, it did.
After a week, it finally, but after I mean, like
tomato bath.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, I've been sprayed by skunk folks like a tomato bath.
It didn't work.
It doesn't. But
it doesn't work.
I was super red though.
You smell very tomatoey.
Yeah, I thought it was spaghetti.
Yeah.
Hey, you're right on there because and I'll bring this back to sobriety because I don't mind talking about it, but resentments, whatever they may have been for me, kept me in the hole, kept me in the dark, right? And the moment that I understood, and this wasn't an overnight thing, I'll tell you that shit right now. The moment I understood that the resentments that I harbored for people that didn't even care, long after, right? Long after, didn't care, kept me in a different mindset.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like
you got to get that shit out of your head.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You got to get that shit. And, so like one of the biggest parts of mastery of any business is the business right here in between your
right.
in your brain housing group, as
That's
Doc
the
likes
hard work.
right? I mean, you got to get that under control by any means necessary. Watch what you're consuming. And I'm not talking about, just the food you eat, right? You got to eat healthy food, but you got to put healthy stuff up here, right? Mm-hmm. And if your brain housing group, yeah, you might like, Dateline and a bunch of murder, but are you filling your head up with negative, right? Maybe you ought to turn that off and go get on the Hardcore Closer podcast and learn how to get some more ROI on all them marketing effort, right?
Well,
like close a few more deals.
Here's the deal too, is that what you are, you eat. We say that a lot, right? And that's mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, the whole deal. That stuff, just like the stuff you put in your body, comes out of your pores, right? So think about your leadership style. Think about how you deal with certain adversity in certain situations, because that's kind of what we're talking about tonight. Because how you deal is how your people will deal, right? How you react is how they're going to react. Oh, Skinner don't care today. Well, shit, neither do I. Just so happens I'm on the best of project that we've ever had today, and might be the most important one we have. But fuck it, I don't care if you don't care. Do you really want that for your team? No.
You remind me a lot of some things that I really harbored, and when I realized the art of forgiveness.
Oh yeah,
it is an art.
Powerful. It's one of the most powerful.
It is. Forgiveness isn't for the other person.
No,
it's
for you.
Because at the end of the day, the other person doesn't even know you're mad at them. They just don't. And it's so hard for humans to wrap their brain around when somebody pisses them off. I got honked at the other day, and I don't know if it was for me or what, but you could see the guy next to me. Like he flipped, he's like, he got mad. And I was like, I didn't do it. I wasn't even the honker. You know what I mean? And so that's where the human brain, that's where a lot of people's thought processes are, is anger. You know what I mean? And if we can just strive at least one day, every day, just to be able to not be so damn mad, I use a couple of analogies. One, I don't allow people to dictate my emotion. And two, I use the acronym HALT, right? Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Typically, if I'm feeling any of those emotions, then I need to stop, right? I need to do those. And as a leader, we need to recognize our emotions, right? Because we can get off the phone with the client who's just pissed us off, but then, here's little Johnny. Hey, leader. You know what I mean? Always has a question, right? I'm that guy. Always had a question. Hey, got one more question, right? But you're just not ready to take that shit right then and there, right? Like, Johnny, figure it out. Be proactive. Be independent. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And it wasn't Johnny's fault. It was just the person here's fault that you just got off the phone with. You guys can't see me pointing at my phone. But it was the client that ended up dictating my emotion, which in turn bled over to one of my team members. And now they're like, wow, why the fuck is Doc being a dick? And I failed to halt. I allowed the client or whomever dictate my emotion, and that emotion was directed to the wrong person. So we have to be cognizant of that. Yeah, we're a fantastic freaking show, man. We got any saved rounds out there, Jeff?
I don't think so, man. I just want to, thank the Patriot Business Alliance, the folks that showed up, our speakers, our sponsors. I know I wasn't physically there in person, but I'm going to be honest, I was overwhelmed with tears on how it went, the success that we had, the comments and the likes and the text messages from people that I met a dude the other day, and we just so happens he's in a vetpreneur tribe, and he was there and just said how amazing it was and how he's taken us so much away. I'm just grateful for the people that invested in themselves, for the Business Alliance, all the speakers, the sponsors, and for you guys, man. You guys really knocked it out of the park, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of this organization than I am today.
Yeah, man, we wouldn't have it any other way. KC, how you doing?
Man, saved rounds, gratitude, right? And being grateful for the opportunity, right? Vision 7 years ago, 11, 12 years ago, 4 years ago was furthest thing from your mind.
100%.
Was not only am I going to be my own business, I'm going to start a second business, and I'm going to fill a room full of people, and people are going to get educated. They're going to get bettered. They're going to get positivity and reinforcement and love and forgiveness. A big part of Mike Bassett's message, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forgiving yourself, forgiving others.
Yep.
How powerful that is.
Huge.
Right? So I have nothing but gratitude. That's my save round.
No.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of my alliance. Let me be part of yours.
Yeah. I'm just going to piggyback on the rest of everything. I can't be more grateful and honored. I appreciate you guys believing in this vision. You know what I mean? I know sometimes you think I'm a little bit freaking crazy, and you think that, wow, what the fuck are we going to be able to do that? And I'm like, yeah, because done's better than perfect. So let's ride. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate it. And the gift of reciprocity. You saw at our show, we still gave, right? We still gave. I mean, we were given to the speakers. We were given to freaking audience members who were asking questions and being a part of the event. Like, we have truly a servant's heart, because throwing this event wasn't about money. Throwing this event was about giving back.
Yeah.
And just saying, hey, man, take this shit and let me give it to you so that you can be successful. Because guess what, folks? The government isn't going to save your ass.
Right. And just think about, like, if you can get in a room, time in an equation never helps.
That's right.
The deal, right? If you add time to a deal, it never makes the deal better.
Nope.
You're starting a business. You need information on how to make your business grow. Tom Keenan did not write his book, Un-F Your Business, in 2014. I wish he had, because I would have read it and I would have known right then and there, write my doggone core values. I learned that last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Been in business 6 years. Just wrote my core values a year and a half ago, right? Whatever that was.
Right.
But it doesn't matter that you did it last year or 6 years. The fact of the matter is you put action to it and you did it.
Right. But how much quicker would I have been able to grow and scale my business if I'd aligned everything I was doing from day one to year 6, right, with those core values, right?
Yeah.
Instead of going with, me, done is better than perfect. I'll outwork everybody, right? And that's how I'll do it. But you're just figuring it out, right? In the most expensive school, the School of Hard Knocks. So get your education, get some knowledge, get in a room full of people, right, that you can learn from, that you can better from, that you can be more positive from, that you can learn how to forgive from. All right.
No, I do got one more save round. We got some big stuff coming, folks. Like, I can't say quiet, okay? I can't say quiet. We got some big shit. Jeff doesn't even know about some of this. I don't even think KC knows about it. This is just me throwing it out there in the universe.
Here we go.
Okay.
Listen up, universe.
Listen up.
Instagram.
We are initiating something to keep everybody engaged, getting those rooms, to piggyback on getting in those rooms, right? We want to start throwing monthly board parties of groups about 5 to 10 people. Yes, this will cost you to attend. But damn it, you will get the value you deserve.
Now we're gonna bring it.
So I'm telling you what, stay tuned. I got some big shit wrapped up in this little brain that we're fixing to just pour out all over you business owners, you entrepreneurs, you fucking patriots win the day. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, boys. Y'all have a good one. Get ready for $10,000 Thursday tomorrow.
$10,000 Thursday. You hear that, Instagram?
That's right. Close.